Now we broach the subject of HS2. The controversial high-speed rail bill is expected to get its final rubber stamp today. Ministers say the HS2 rail line from London to Birmingham will cut journey times to just 49 minutes and is vital to the nation's infrastructure. But opponents say that the scheme is the wrong solution to our transport needs. It'll go over budget and it'll damage the environment. Let's go to Keri Brennan, chair of the campaign group Hillingdon against HS2. Hello, Keri. Good morning.
Good morning, Vanessa.
So the idea that it's expected to get its final rubber stamp today, how does that make you and your other members of your group feel?
I think for anyone that's kind of been paying close attention for the last 6 years, it's obviously a bit of a depressing day, but we're all quite realistic, and the lack of kind of political interest in really scrutinising it and considering alternatives has made it pretty clear for a while now that it was never going to get the scrutiny it deserved. So unfortunately we're not surprised today, but I think we're all a bit depressed.
Why is Hillingdon against HS2? What's the reason?
Well, there's the obvious angle of it's going through this part of London as well as many others. So, of course, then residents and action groups and community groups then scrutinise the plan to look at the impact. And then you have like two strands, then you're completely concerned about your local impact, but you also look at the business case because you kind of think, well, do I want to lose my home for something that's worthwhile? Maybe I could swallow that. And then when you realise how expensive and, to be honest, not really meeting the requirements of a kind of massive infrastructure project that should be like transformational, it gets just more of a bitter pill. So then you kind of hook up nationally and try and campaign with everybody. I think the main thing for us is things like it was £30 billion when we first were consulted on it, and now it's £60 billion, but now it doesn't go to Europe via HS1, it doesn't go to Heathrow, so we're paying double what the public consultation approved, if you like. But we're getting less for our money. But what
will we get at the end? What are we going to finish up with?
I think the biggest risk, I think, is a piecemeal approach, that we're going to end up with a train literally from London to Birmingham. Birmingham seeing it as this great kind of land grab and redevelopment project. So they're, of course, loving the idea of it. It doesn't really go to the right place in Birmingham. It's not perfect even for them, but it kind of, they're very happy with it. But for Londoners, we already have the Euston routes that are overcrowded at times, but really because of Milton Keynes and places like that. So for us, that could have been sorted in easier ways. So
they say it's going to take 49 minutes.
Yeah.
How long does it take now to get to Birmingham?
It's not that long. It's like an hour and 20 minutes, I think. So it's like it's a saving, but it's not, because I live nearer the Chiltern line, and that's always empty, and they're always selling tickets for like £6. So they're already routes that I think with some simple signal changes. I think with public spending, you should look at what are our overall all our problems for all of the British public, and then come up with lots of transport projects that would improve transport for everybody all over the country. And if they spent £60 billion on that, I just think we'd all be better off.
And what's going to happen to Hillingdon? What will they do? I mean, it's going to get the rubber stamp, and then what?
Yeah, so then building work will commence, they reckon, springtime. So we're looking here at having massive viaducts built in Harefield on the very edge of West London, big concrete manufacturing plants and assembly plants being built on green land, road closures, rerouting of things, changing of the nature of the area, and massive transport disruption. But actually, although I'm in Hillingdon, I think also one of the worst places, apart from like Harefield and Ickenham in particular here in West London, is Camden, where they're going to have 17 years of disruption. It's going to have knock-on effects on air pollution, which I know is a really big topic in London at the moment. And they're losing loads of social housing, and they're not even going to end up with a new Euston station, which I think anyone that goes through central London regularly knows that Euston station is a dump and needs kind of, if anything, regenerating. And actually they're just going to bolt on the side after 17 years of disruption. So like it never quite delivers anything worth having. And it's a letter from an MP recently said that they've had leaks internally from HSC that they reckon it could cost up to 200 billion in the end, and they've been over budget on all their contracts, 86% over budget spending 188 million instead of 101 million on some contracts. So it's just not really, it's not heartening to think they're going to be rubber stamped today to spend 60 billion and where that's actually going to end up. I just think it's a really bad time for this project and for the NHS and everything else to come secondary. But this is where we are, and this is the political system in Britain.
So do you feel as if you've been protesting for 6 years and literally you haven't been listened to or heard, or you have been heard and you've been ignored, or what? None of your protestations have made any difference?
Well, for us, and again, just giving a London perspective, we have protested for Ruislip, an area where hundreds of homes were going to be destroyed. We did get a tunnel here, and then we kind of helped and worked with Ealing groups, and there's now a tunnel in Ealing as well. So they were going to close the Hanger Lane Directory for 18 months. I mean, this is the kind of craziness we were dealing with. And, then we'd have a protest and kind of lobby and raise awareness. And I think we've made a massive difference. I think that's great. But for the people either end of those tunnels, like I say, particularly Ickenham and Harefield in West London and Camden, Londoners are treated more unfairly because the government says it can't afford to compensate them fairly, so it doesn't give them the same treatment.
Okay, let me ask you, Keri, what you think of this. So I've just asked we've been speaking to you at length, as you know, and you've had a jolly good chance to set your stall out and explain all your reasons why you're not in favour of HS2. And I've just asked my producer, do we have anyone to speak pro HS2? Who's the person that's going to say that it's a great thing and why it's fantastic that it's going to be rubber stamped today? And guess what the answer is? No. We had a no from the Department of Transport.
Well, can I tell you as well?
Why did we have a no from the... I mean, I know you don't know, but I mean, you could probably have a thought on this. We've asked the Department of Transport. Today it's going to be rubber stamped. HS2, come on the show. Tell us why that's a great thing and we should all be thrilled to bits. And the answer was no. I'm not coming on.
I tell you one reason might be because... Hang
on. Sorry, I should tell you a bit more. We had a no from the Department of Transport. We had a no from HS2 Limited. And we had a no from the Mayor's office. So you're on the radio telling us why HS2 is an appalling thing and we shouldn't be having it. And 3 different institutions or edifices that could have come on and told us why it was a great thing, none of them will come on. Now, why do you think that is? I know it's only your point of view, but you're entitled to express one, I think.
Yeah, well, firstly, it doesn't surprise me at all because years ago, I was set up to go on Sky News and I was quite excited to go in the car. They were going to collect me and I'm just an ordinary person. So I was like, really, wow, this is an experience. And they cancelled me at the last minute because they couldn't get anyone pro HS2 to go on. And that has happened to anti-HS2 people all over the country for years because they can't balance the broadcast. They quite often cancel them altogether.
Well, that's because we have to, obviously this is the BBC, we have to try and balance everything. That's why I was thinking, where's the person that's going to say the other thing? Where's that person? And the answer is they won't talk to me.
I think the question they don't want you to ask is also that they've just awarded massive contracts to a company called CH2 Hill. It's a big engineering company. And they've also just appointed one of their leaders as their chief executive. And there's lots of questions swirling around about kind of whether a company's just launched a legal case against them for conflict of interest. So I think they've got some stuff going on that should be their good news story of their new chief executive, but it's actually not gone down very well. And I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I think they might have been worried you were going to put them on the spot about that and how that's happening.
Wow.
Sadly.
So that leaves my listeners to come to their own conclusions, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I thank you so much for joining us, Keri, and giving us chapter and verse on HS2 as you perceive it there as chair of Hillingdon against HS2. Obviously, there is another point of view, but it's not our fault if my team are asking every possible representative to come and give that point of view and they won't give it. So we did ask and they didn't come on the programme.